All right, welcome to RetireJapan TV, where we talk about personal finance, investing, retirement, and life in Japan. Joining me today is our superstar co-host, Daniel.
Hello, everyone.
I'm really approving of this shirt choice today.
Yeah, I thought I'd be subtle today. It's getting to it's getting to the warmer weather, so I'm lifting my spirits with it.
Nice. Whereas I have, don't know if you can see that. That's from my favorite temple.
Oh,
which is in Miyagi, and it's for, I think she's called Benzaiten. She's like female deity of pretty much everything, but she's the snake goddess. So.
Is that a new one then in the background? Then the white one?
Ish. So my wife got it for me as a Halloween costume.
Okay.
So you become the.
I see.
Yeah, but I'm keeping him around because I was born in the year of the snake. So.
I see. Okay.
Hey, good evening. The people joining us today are like the real kind of hardcore crowd because we didn't announce this, did we? Because I forgot to put it in the Monday read. Because I had a bit of a busy Sunday. So,
what were you doing on Sunday, Ben?
Well, I woke up very early, and I made my way to Sendai Station, and I caught a Shinkansen down to Tokyo. Normally my nemesis, but actually, I had a really good time this time around. I think it's because it was Sunday. I think the vibe's slightly better on Sunday in Tokyo.
Yeah.
And then, I went to the Japan Real Estate Summit for the first time, which you've been to before. And actually, I saw a couple of familiar people there. So.
Right. I went a few years ago, but it seemed maybe more focused this time.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you what were your impressions of like the difference or the evolution?
Good question. I think there was maybe a few more people last time, but it was either free or very cheap, like 1,000 yen or something. And this time seemed people seemed much more willing to jump in with questions and comments than last time, where it was more about sitting back and getting information, maybe because the audience was slightly bigger. And this time it was split into 2 rooms, which I thought was good. So 2 simultaneous things. What he did do well is that he could only stream and record one, and I think the videos will be out pretty soon. They're quite good at releasing them to the public for free. So one room was recorded, and the other smaller room wasn't. So if you wanted to watch both, you would go to the non-recorded one and watch the other one later online.
So pretty much, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, it was good. So really, you got 2 tracks, but nobody would miss anything. And as usual with Ziv and his little group of people that he's got around him there, is really well organized and well run, I thought.
I was so impressed with the organization because we've done a couple of events with Retire Japan, and it's so difficult to get it that smooth, where it's seamless. I didn't really notice any issues, which is very rare for an in-person event over a weekend. So fantastic time. Really enjoyed it. I think I'll probably go again in the future. I really did enjoy the thing and meet lots of people, and it was really nice to see people in person. It's been a really long time, basically since COVID, right? That we've had.
Yeah.
So
you were just visiting, were you? You thought in your free time you go and pop down, or was there any other reason you were going to the?
Yeah, they asked me to do a talk, and I was kind of thinking, what can I talk about, really? It's a room full of like real estate people, and I've got this theory about real estate people. Like, there's real estate people and there's non-real estate people, and I'm a non-real estate person. It's basically how kind of attractive real estate investing is to you. I think it's either attractive or it's not, and it's not really about the numbers. It's more a feeling, like, oh, this is interesting, I'd love to do it, or this is a huge hassle and I don't want anything to do with it. Right. I think we're on a similar page on that, aren't we?
Yeah, I actually like the numbers side of it. I like looking at listings and trying to work out like what I would do, how much I would put on rent for, and like what would the deductions be. But then actually doing it, no, the sort of well, my wife and I both. I think, as we may have mentioned before, with a partner, you need to have sort of a similar approach to something. And although I was tempted, she certainly wasn't. So it's okay, I'll go with what you want, and we'll just leave it, because the extra mental overhead, where you could do something much simpler if you're comfortable with it. And in our case, it's stock investing, index investing. But I think you've got a friend or a relative who is kind of uncomfortable with stocks, but very comfortable with property, because it's a physical thing. You can see, what you've got. So you and I think are kind of similar, but we understand that there are people who are not.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I was into it, because it's very attractive, especially from a diversification point of view, and there's some good kind of tax benefits. But I don't have the patience. I don't want to deal with physical things. I have enough physical things that kind of stress me out, like taking on more, because basically I think real estate investing, even if you delegate it, it's pretty much a part-time job. It's not fully passive, really. To be fully passive, you need to buy like a REIT or something. But as soon as you've got physical properties and management and all that, then it's going to take time. So
yes, I have seen the attraction more recently, where personally I'm quite negative about the future of the stock market globally. But if I had a property bringing in rent, I'd be much more like feel much more secure with that. But then there's the sort of my mental. Do I want to deal with that physical hassle? No, it doesn't. That doesn't outweigh the benefits to me. But in terms of diversifying away from what could be some hardships in the stock market.
Yeah. So that would protect you from a strengthening yen, for example. Give you like a yen, because we're going to be spending in yen, aren't we, if we're going to live here in the future.
Yes.
So having yen sources of income is really beneficial.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future, maybe we'll have Retire Japan Real Estate Edition or something.
Yeah. Splinter Group.
We'll see.
Anyway, should we get on with today's hot topic?
Let's do it. So we went back and forth a little bit about today's main topic. There's a few things we could have talked about, and we're going to talk about them in the news section instead. And we actually went with,
I think I'm learning Japanese. I really think so. Hey, I'm sure I'm not the first to do that.
That's all the music you're getting today, by the way.
Yeah, sorry.
So yeah, why are we going to talk about learning Japanese? Well, A, it's quite important, but B, it seems like it's no longer going to be optional in Japan. So for the longest time, you could live here and whatever, and not acquire any kind of meaningful level of Japanese. I think all of us probably know people who've been here for 30, 40 years, and they can order a beer, but that's about it. Whereas it seems like going forward, it's going to be much harder to be in that state. So things that have changed recently, we've seen language requirements come in for a number of visa types. So not just naturalization, which there's always been a language kind of requirement for naturalization, but now we've seen the specialist in humanities / engineer visa that can now have a language requirement depending on the job description. So if you're going to be using a language as part of your job, you need to show that you're competent in it. And they're talking about a B2 level, which is quite high. So it's N2, but it's not all N2. So if you scrape past N2, that's not B2 level. You need to get like a middle score in N2. So the N2 certificates now have the SEFAR rating on it as well. And a low pass would be a B1 level, and a higher pass would be a B2 level.
Sorry, I'm getting a bit confused. SEFAR, what's that?
Yeah, this is the Council of Europe for Foreign Languages Reference Scale.
Okay.
It's basically European Union came up with this. It's kind of a metric, basically. So it's descriptive. It says what you can do with the language, and it's in 6 stages. So you've got A1, which is beginner, and you've got A2, which is kind of high beginner, and you've got B1, which is intermediate, I guess. So apparently in Japan, most university students' English level is between A2 and B1 after, a lot of English classes.
Really? That's pretty low.
Yeah. B2 is professional use, and so C1, and C2 is the highest level, and it's beyond native speaker.
Beyond native, wow.
So basically, someone with C2 language has an educated native speaker's equivalent of language, so better than someone with, say, a basic level of education who is also a native speaker.
Wow.
And so B2 is quite high. It's not just N2, but it's a good N2.
Right.
Now, of course, that only applies to certain people. It doesn't apply across the board for that visa. But some of the new working visas apparently are requiring JLPT N4, N3 level, which led to a really interesting news story that you found.
Yes, I just pasted it in the comments. By the way, I should tell people, I don't know if we mentioned it, but we're talking about the JLPT, which is the Japanese Language Proficiency Test. It's kind of like the gold standard across the country. So I put this Mainichi, well, it was on various outlets, but this is the Mainichi link. And they are closing applications early for N3 and N4 level, I think it was. So the original deadline to apply to take the test on July the 5th was April 7th. Well, that's gone. But the organisers stopped accepting applications on March the 25th and 27th, so a couple of weeks early. So that's already closed, or all of the levels, I think. But it's worth bearing in mind if you're coming up and thinking, oh, yeah, the next round, whenever it comes up again, I might take that. Get your application in early, because the deadline is not really the deadline. They can close it whenever they want.
Right, and there's probably a huge rush for people to get qualified in order to qualify for their visas, etc. And so I think it's fairly clear that this is also going to end up being, we'll have a language requirement for permanent residency, probably spouse visas, maybe.
Really?
That seems to be the direction of travel. Obviously, I don't know. It hasn't been announced yet. I think PR is almost certainly gonna happen.
Right. Yeah. All this is trying to thread the needle, isn't it, between the country needs more foreign workers, but then in some areas, especially if you're LDP, I think there's sort of pressure from behind the scenes to not let too many foreigners in. So they have to please both sides.
Well, we've talked about this before, haven't we? They're fixing one problem by focusing on something else. So the problem is too many tourists, and the solution is to crack down on residents who are not the problem. I keep seeing these news stories about coexistence. So we've got funds for education to help coexist, and what does that mean? What does that mean in Japanese government terms? It means let's tell foreigners about the rules of Japanese society.
Yeah. You had a link in your latest blog post, didn't you? One of the links was
it's not, let's crack down on landlords who are discriminating by race and nationality. It's not, let's make it easier to access public services. No, it's let's tell them how to sort their garbage out, as if that's difficult. Anyway, what we were going to talk about today was how to learn Japanese, wasn't it? We're not just going to whine about things. I'm not a fan of whining about stuff. But we wanted to talk about how to learn Japanese.
I think whether you agree with them enforcing the requirements or not, just being able to speak more Japanese and kind of having this incentive to learn and pass is a good thing, because the more you learn the language, the more you'll enjoy the country, I think, and the culture.
Yep. I've actually got a theory about this.
Oh, should we start with that?
So my theory is that if you don't learn Japanese in the first year or two, you're not going to.
Oh.
So I've seen this so many times. Like, unless you pick it up immediately, you get into a kind of comfortable situation where you don't need to, and you just don't. So all those people that, have lived here for decades and don't speak Japanese, they didn't learn it at the start when it was pressing, right? And then they just found a way to live their life and be perfectly happy without having Japanese skills.
I wonder if it's a bit like personal finance in that respect, where people think, I really should. I should probably do. Yeah, I will do that one day. And without some kind of motivating factor, like something that happens, you just kind of continue in that, one day.
Having to learn it for your visa.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe this is a good thing. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that theory, I think.
I mean, no, I don't think anyone's a fan of like immigrants not learning the language of their host country. Right? In any country, right? This isn't a popular kind of situation. So yeah, why would Japan be different? And yeah. So if you want to learn Japanese, what is the way to do it? I think it's both easier and more difficult to do it now. So we both did it at a similar time, I think. So back in the day, we had those like funky electronic dictionaries, right? The little kind of folding ones, the clamshell ones that were really expensive.
Let me ask Tanaka-san.
Or paper dixionaries,
and the paper little cards on a keyring.
Yes.
I guess you still get them. So I had a long commute. So I was studying back in the UK, but some time spent in Japan at the university down in Osaka. And it's quite a long commute from the homestay. So the little flashcard was on a keyring thing, and it had the red cellophane on. So if you write in red pen, you can't see it until you remove it. That's such a brilliant idea.
They've still got that. Like,
they have.
This new book, same thing.
Really?
The red stuff. Yeah, you can filter out the red words by putting a red film over it, but you can see the other words, right? So
yeah, brilliant idea. So had that. Didn't really have internet access in those days, so it was like watching TV, or newspapers. I've confession time. Oh, hang on, maybe there's a. Okay, I've got a. Well, one second. Oh no. Oh, let's play this one. But I can't find one. I have a confession. When I was at university back in the UK, I wanted Japanese resources to read and learn, and the university had in these internet rooms, because most people didn't have personal internet access then. So you'd go and you'd get on a computer. It's like the big chunky TVs in those days, and you could look at Yahoo in Japanese. And of course, it would take me a long time to sort of look at the screen there. So I wanted to print it off so I could look at it at home. And each of the characters in those days, to get it to display, because the computers didn't have Japanese fonts on, something converted it into little images. So each character was an actual image file, basically.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So I would print it off. And I only realized this after maybe a few sessions or a few days, but it printed off. And the file would be huge because it's all these images, and the technology was not as fast as it was there. And so I would print it off, and it would be maybe an hour or so before it eventually came to the printer. And so I would think, okay, I'll print that, and then go and pick it up a bit later on. And at some point, I realized
mob of people waiting for you. Which idiot put this out?
Oh no. People are like exams or whatever. I felt so bad. I would hold up the whole computer room printing for an hour or so just because I wanted to read out an article in Japanese from Yahoo. So I'm sorry to everybody at my university who failed their exams because they couldn't print up their assignment or something. End of confession.
Yes, I think it's easier now. Like, we've got better technology, right? Like, you can scan stuff. You can scan a kanji. You don't have to think of what the radical is and then count the strokes and look it up that way, right? Which is what we used to do with paper dictionaries. And you've got everything online that you can watch. You can watch Netflix. You can do whatever. But at the same time, I think it's easier to get kind of lost in your little app or whatever. Like Duolingo is the obvious one, right? You can do Duolingo for years and it won't really help you with your language acquisition, but it feels good and it feels like you're doing something. So there's a lot of kind of potential for kind of busy work that doesn't really go anywhere, that's not as effective.
Yes. I think this might be what, as I have a comment here from Rob. Hello, Rob. I'm taking, can I put it on the screen? Rob is taking N3 now at age 58. Wow, not studying for 25 years. Passed JLPT4 and 3 back then, failed NICU, like many of us, and just gave up. Now I'm decades later and trying again, but it isn't sticking. Any pointers you can give us?
That's what our topic is. Awesome. Yeah, we're going to go through a few ways that you can learn Japanese and you know how useful they are and so on.
So you mentioned Duolingo, but I've tried that with a few languages, and it feels like you're making progress, but I'm not sure it actually.
Right, it's not really that helpful. I think because it's very different. So the important thing with practicing anything is to get the conditions as close as possible to the real thing. So if you're going to practice a sport, it should be a sport. If you're going to practice public speaking, you should actually physically try and make it as close to public speaking as possible, right? Stand on a stage and imagine the audience, that kind of stuff. So the same with language learning, right? If you're doing your little fun app that involves clicking things, that's not really any kind of meaningful language interaction, is it? So what you can do that's useful, so you know, as a language teacher, here we are. Now I'm appealing to authority now.
Of course, you wrote a book on. Ben has written books on studying languages, so he is an expert.
Yes, Ben has acquired a few languages. So I think it's basically you got input. You need as much input as possible. That needs to be at the N+1 level. So it's you don't understand 100% of it, but you understand most of it. You know, you want to be understanding 80, 90%, and then you can kind of guess at the missing 10, 20%. And you want it to be interesting, and you want it to be meaningful to you, right? That's the most important. So this is reading, this is watching. So watching TV. And the way to do this, I think, is kind of steps. So you watch something in Japanese and you maybe have English subtitles, and then you watch the same thing again with Japanese subtitles. And eventually you can skip the English subtitles, hopefully. Recently, I find myself watching stuff in other languages that I don't know with Japanese subtitles, which is interesting.
Oh, right.
Keep up with that at speed is quite tricky. You know, if I'm watching something with my wife and it's in Polish or something, it's going to have Japanese subtitles, right?
Yeah, really helpful. Like you. So back at university, again, we didn't really have much internet, but we had NHK international satellite broadcast, which was during the night, the UK time. And so the department was set up to record it onto the VHS video cassettes each night, like 3 hours or something. And then you come in the following day to the language lab and borrow it and sit there and listen to it. And Long Vacation was the drama at the time with Kim Taku and the wonderful Yamaguchi Tomoko. And I really got into it. And that was partly what just gave me motivated to learn more of the lessons and do my homework, because I wanted to understand this drama. So yeah, I think TV is a huge thing because you're learning, but also you're getting that motivation to keep learning.
But you have to find something you like.
Yes. Definitely.
So like, you know, people talk about manga. I found one manga I really got into, but I really enjoyed it. And I read all 24 volumes. So it has to be interesting. If it's not interesting, then look for something else, because if it's slogging through something that's not interesting is kind of a waste of your time, and your brain's not going to activate in the same way.
Relatedly, music, I think, if there's a song, or try and find a band or a song that you really like. And I kind of struggled with this, but I really like Judy and Mary back in the day. TRF, although the hit song at the time was Boy Meets Girl, which was not okay, that's English. But there was, we went to karaoke with some friends one time. That's a good one, because it's the text is on the screen, you know, you listen to your friends singing in Japanese, hopefully, and you pick it up. And there was this one song which this girl kept singing, and it's really repetitive, and it was Anata ga watashi ni kureto kureta mono, da 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 da, anata ga watashi ni kureta mono, and it just repeated that through the song. I can't remember who it's by, what it's called, but it was really.
You remember that line?
And I remember it now. And the great thing about it is you get kureru and morao, don't you? The two like similar verbs, but one is ni and one is ga. And so when I'm stuck about it, I just sing anata ga watashi ni kureta. Oh, okay, I know what that is. It works, all from a silly karaoke session. So yeah, nice. Because it's interesting enough to like pay attention and for it to sink in. Yeah. So going back to the thing you mentioned earlier, where it has to be something that you enjoy and simple. I agree with that. And we mentioned that Duolingo, might not be that effective, but an app that I really like is called Anki, and there are alternatives. Apparently, there's one called Mochi, which is good. And Anki has a really big community of people who have donated like flashcard packs. It's not physical ones; it's digital ones. And so you can install a pack that somebody's made. And often it will be based on a textbook or something. And I've used that for some languages. And I like that because although you're not really learning like full conversational stuff, it's really easy just to flick through, like before you go to bed at night or something. And it's easy. It doesn't feel like studying, but I believe the words are sort of sticking in your head because it uses spaced repetition, which has like science behind it, where you sort of learn a word and need a bit more of a gap between each time you come back to that word so that you're not sort of wasting energy learning something that you already know, but you're catching it just before you forget it kind of thing. And I found that helpful. Again, not really for conversational, but for vocabulary sticking. It's really good.
So yeah, I mean, that's basically, you're memorizing vocab, you might be memorizing grammar points, maybe you might be memorizing kanji.
Yeah.
But to really get it, I think you need to be getting the input at the same time. So you need to be listening to Japanese, you need to be reading Japanese. And then when those words that you learnt with the flashcards show up in the text or in the conversation or whatever, they're kind of highlighted, aren't they? Like they kind of jump out at you. You're like, I know that one because I learnt it yesterday. And that's when the kind of memory connection gets made, I think. So if you just do Anki or something, I don't think that's enough. But if you're doing Anki as well as reading or as well as like listening and so on, I think that's going to speed things up.
Right, one reinforces the other kind of thing. Yeah. I put their link to Anki and Mochi. I haven't tried Mochi, but I've heard good things about it, and I'm sure there are others too. On the flip side, something that I did just a couple of times because it was really hard work, but it did work well, is listening to a radio or not TV, but some kind of audio only thing, and then trying to write down what it is. And you have to keep stopping it and pausing and going back. And it's really difficult, but you're sort of learning the words. You're getting listening practice in the native language at the native speed. You're practicing writing kanji as well. And the whole like physical action, I think, contributes to more muscle memory. So that was intense, but really effective.
That's hardcore. Slightly less hardcore is shadowing, where you speak along with the audio. So this again, it works in small chunks best. So if you find like a speech or something in a movie that you like, and you speak not after but alongside it, that's what's called shadowing.
With subtitles.
Can be with subtitles or not. It's harder without, obviously.
What? Just like off by heart?
Well, you're. I mean, there's a micro delay, but you're basically saying it along with the person, and that helps you with intonation. It helps you with pronunciation, that kind of stuff. But it's very tiring, so you don't want to do it for more than a couple of minutes chunk at most.
Right. Wow, I like that. That's cool. I might try that. Yeah, sounds difficult, but yeah. Talking about speaking, actually, you've got kids across the road here who are learning English at school at the moment, and when they're messing around, they actually speak quite good English. Like the grammar and stuff is all wrong, but they're like pretending to be an American or English person, and so they put on this silly accent. It's like, that's actually pretty good. And then as soon as they're like, now introduce yourself. Oh, my name is. But when they just mess around, it's like, oh, what do you want? Wow, yeah, it's like, that's cool. Just talk like that, learn a few bit more vocab, and you'll be okay. So,
one thing. Yeah, one thing I really like is the idea of finding a kind of language role model. So finding someone, whether it's an actor or a kind of newscaster or someone that you want to sound like in that language, and then kind of copying them. Right. I think that's a really useful thing to do if you're trying to find your kind of, because basically when you learn a foreign language, you adopt a new persona. You become a different person in that language, and you can shape that if you want to.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. I hadn't thought about that.
So like I had a guy at my karate gym. I used to do karate when I first came here, and I really liked the way he talked to people. He was kind of polite, but kind of cool and not kind of effeminate about it. And I was like, all right, I want to speak like he does. So I kind of started copying him a little bit in Japanese.
Actually, that would be useful because, again, back at university, I had a Japanese friend, and we asked him, like, what is the professor's Japanese really like? And oh, yeah, it's really good, but he talks like a woman. Because he was in the UK with his Japanese wife, and that's the only exposure he had to Japanese. And now I'm worried that I'm getting like that as well. So yeah, having some kind of role model that I would like to speak like, that would be helpful.
Yeah. So someone that you think, someone that you think is cool, or and you just kind of copy them. It works quite well.
Relatedly, I think a language buddy who is like on your side of the fence, learning the language is helpful. Again, going back to university, there are 3 of us, all kind of the same level, all friends, but secretly trying to beat each other. And so when one person,
frenemies,
right? So like, what's that tango, that vocab you just learned? Where did you learn that? I don't know that one. I need to practice more. Well, they got a better result on the test. That was really motivational. I guess it's kind of like with having a gym buddy. It kind of forces you to go to the gym even when you're not really feeling up to it, and therefore you make better progress.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that I found super useful, and this is really old school, but there's a couple of browser plugins called Rikai. So there's Rikai-kun that I use on Chrome, and there's a Rikai-chan that used to exist. And what they do is when you enable them, you can mouse over text and it will give you a pop-up of the meaning and the reading and that kind of stuff. So it doesn't translate the whole text, which I think is less useful. What it does is it allows you to read the Japanese, and then when you get to a word or a kanji you don't know, you just put your mouse on it and you get a pop-up with the meaning and so on. So it allows for more natural reading, and naturally you don't want to be moving your mouse around, so you're going to remember the kanji that you've looked up and stuff. So
that's cool. Yeah,
I still use that when I get like long, complicated emails. I'll turn it on and use that to help me.
Yeah, I think ultimately you want to get into that, like submersed into the native language as quickly as you can. Don't rely on, like you can get rid of that reliance on English as early as possible. And it sounds like this Rikai-kun extension might be a way to do that.
It's a way to accelerate it a bit, I think.
Right.
And it allows you to stay in whatever you're doing rather than having to look stuff up on your phone or whatever.
Right.
Do you want to answer some questions before we carry on? We've had a few, haven't we?
Yeah. What have we got? Oh, wow. Foregone conclusion. Hello there. How are you doing? Tiger Feet turning Japanese by the vapors. That's who it was. I forgot who you saying.
I just want to have a quick commiseration with Zenaku Tenshi here, who basically, along with a lot of people, got rug pulled with the naturalization.
Can you explain what happened there?
Yeah, so basically, the government suddenly, on like April, can't remember when it was, April 10th or April 1st or something, said, right, so now in order to naturalize, you have to have lived in Japan for 10 years. And this new requirement applied retroactively, which is very rare. Normally, so even people whose applications were in process, they'd finished applying, would now be kind of auto-rejected if they didn't have 10 years in the country. So yeah, very, very unfortunate for lots of people.
Wow, that's really harsh. Oh dear. Right, where are we going? Naski HK07. Hi there. Looks like a new username to me. There are a lot of options using text for studying, and I think people can get lost in the sheer number of options available. Yes, I agree. to me, this is a little bit like AI tools right now. There are so many, and people are saying, "Oh, this is the best. That's the best." At some point, I think you just have to be strict. It's like there may be better ones out there, but this is mine. I'm focusing on this, and just like get really comfortable with one method, and not worry about what you're missing out on. It's going to be better than nothing.
Yeah, we got a recommendation from 123 Schlep. Thank you.
Hey, hello. We saw you on Sunday.
Hey.
Nice to see you.
So we've got this book, which is Gaikokujin. What's that? Rikishi? Oh, is that the sumo guys?
Yeah.
So why are foreign sumo wrestlers so good at Japanese?
Wow.
Summarizes research about adult Japanese language acquisition. So.
Well, that sounds like okay. So after you finish listening to us, go and take a look at
that book. Assuming really you can read it, because it sounds like it's a Japanese language book.
Wow, very cool. Yeah. So then we had a few things. Right, this is something I wanted to mention as well. Nasky HK07 again says, I use Gemini, which is a Google's AI bot, as a conversation partner, for example. So yeah, I think it could be any of them, Claude GPT or whatever, ChatGPT or whatever. I think a lot of people kind of underestimate the power of an AI chatbot when you use it as an interview partner. And you can actually tell it, okay, please ask me questions until I say stop. Or please interview me until I say stop. And so you could actually ask it to assess your level first of all before you can start. Like, ask me questions to assess my level, and at that point, have a conversation with me about such and such.
And you can probably get it to correct you as well, right?
I'm sure, yeah.
So yeah, that's basically having an infinitely patient free teacher who'll sit there and just correct your mistakes all day long. So
yeah. For conclusion, says, when you've pretty much nailed conversational Japanese or higher when a Japanese person asks you for advice about the language or just advice in general?
Yeah, is it? Yeah. I'm not getting asked about Japanese, but I do get asked about other stuff.
Right. Oh.
Okay, so it's kind of off topic, but I'm going to answer it quickly.
Yeah.
On the topic of property, do you foresee the number of empty properties exploding as the elderly die, move into family homes? Yeah. That's what Akiya is. A lot of it, right? So it's houses in the countryside where the children move to a city and live in a city, and they don't want the house. No one else wants the house either. So the house is then vacant. So it's not going to be houses in desirable areas. It's going to be houses that people don't want that end up empty because you can't sell them basically because no one wants to live there. So.
Speaking of Akiya, actually, side note, I was chatting with Sam from a company or website called Akiya Hub.
Oh, I was chatting with Sam too. Nice guy.
Right, nice guy, yeah. So they don't actually sell Akiya, but they sort of have an intermediary where they'll set you up if you're looking for an Akiya, an empty home in Japan. But what they did have was this sort of PDF book. It was quite a thick book, actually, to sort of quiz yourself about how to live in Japan to really understand the country from a do I want to live here perspective. Because a lot of people might come over here and stay for a week and think, oh, it's so cool, I want to live here. But really you want to plan maybe a couple of months here. And even then you might just hang out in the tourist areas. So it's a sort of guidance as to how to appreciate the real Japan. And then various checklists and questions to ask yourself about things you might have forgotten, aspects of the country that you might drive you crazy and you weren't aware of them or something. It was very good. I think you sign up and you can get the free PDF.
So they're selling a paper copy as well.
Mm-hmm.
But you get the PDF for free if you sign up to their mailing list. And it looked really good. I had to flick through it as well. So I was like, wow, this is like a really good resource.
We're not affiliated, but yeah, akiyahub.com if that sounds like it's interesting for you. So where were we? Ben.
So when I was a teacher, I used this for Seito Shido, discipline. I tell my students that. So I go into class, I teach like elementary kids and stuff. I'm like, yeah, this is the Seitoshido bottle, so behave. No, I just keep dropping it, and it's fairly soft steel, so every time you drop it, you get a dent. So that's the boring answer.
Yeah. I think full conclusion is trying to wind us up here, but let's humor him. What is the point of Japanese language proficiency when AI is going to knock it all out of the park anyway? Ha! As much as I like AI, and yeah, you can use AI apps. In fact, my family came over recently, and they couldn't believe it when they could scan something, and you could get a translation of it on your phone. It was fantastic for conversations. But on the one hand, yeah, you're going to need to be able to speak Japanese to live here, to work here, but also all the things you'd miss out if you couldn't speak. Just people having chats, or somebody asking you a question, or people laughing in a social setting, and you want to understand.
Getting rid of the barrier. Right, because if you're going through your phone or your smart glasses or whatever, there's a barrier, right? You're not actually, you haven't, you're not like a normal person. You're interacting with via the machine, right? Whereas I find, if you speak reasonable Japanese, after like a couple of sentences, people kind of relax and start treating you like a normal person, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
And that wouldn't be the case if you were relying on AI, I don't think. So that's the difference. AI is functional, so it can get you the things, but being able to use the language is more emotional, maybe, or what's the word I'm looking for? It's more of a connection. It's a human connection as opposed to a transactional thing.
Yes, yeah. I think as well, when you get to a certain level, it suddenly opens you up to twice as many things to enjoy as previously. So let's say whether you like books, films, songs, comedy, suddenly you've got twice as many things to enjoy, and it's wonderful. The song, what is it? The TV series. It's these people on cushions. If you say a funny joke, they give you a cushion. If it falls flat, they take it away.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name. Somebody tell me the name of the program. Anyway, I don't understand everything, but sometimes I watch that because my father-in-law likes to watch it, and you get one of the puns or something.
It's so satisfying, isn't it?
Yes, I understand that, and it's funny. It's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely
satisfying. Yeah. Any opinions on hitting the kanji wall during Japanese language study? So you studied. I think this is with anything. You're not going to go up in a linear fashion. You're going to go up, make progress. At some point, it feels like you're not making any progress. But if you stick with it, at some point, suddenly there's another jump. Do you find that?
Yeah. So it's a plateau, right? So in anything like jiu-jitsu, there's a plateau all the time. So you feel like you're getting worse, but you're actually getting better, and then you suddenly get the visible improvement. So I think it's similar. You just got to stick at it and keep going, I think.
I like the Anki for memorizing kanji, and eventually they'll stick.
Or just keep reading stuff, and then when you run into something, you look it up.
Yeah. Shorten, that's the name of the program. Thank you very much. Every Sunday for decades. Yes. Right. This is your turn to. Lots of people are following this, I think. So yeah, Ben is trying to become Japanese. How's it
going? I not do an update on the most recent one? Was it after our previous one? Did I?
No, I think you mentioned it last time.
We talked about it last time. Yeah. So basically, I've had two meetings. They weren't interviews. 2 meetings, and the next one is in August. And by August, I should have all the documents ready. And I presume at that point they'll allow me to apply. So we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Ooh, it is getting close then.
Yeah, but it takes forever. Whereas if you go through a lawyer, actually, this is the one benefit of going through a lawyer. The lawyer knows the process. So you don't have all this messing around with meetings. You can basically, going through a lawyer, the lawyer will make sure everything's correct, and then you just apply directly to the office. So you can cut out these months. But to be honest, I've really found the process quite interesting.
I think on Sunday in your presentation, you might have even used the word enjoyable.
Yeah, it was. It's I mean, this time around, I tried this before, and I had a real a really unpleasant case officer. My case officer this time, he's a really nice guy. So we just sit around and talk for a couple of hours at each meeting. And it's interesting. You know, it's like kind of building your family tree or something. You know, some people like, you know, you go back and you look into your family tree and you do some research and you find this is like your family, your life tree. So they're like, okay, write every single address you've ever lived at. And I'm like, yeah, it's a hassle, but it's also interesting because you get to think about it. So yeah, it's not bad. If you're not in a rush and you've got time, I think it's quite a fun process.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I was surprised to see you say that, but yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, basically, there's no pressure. I don't need this, and I don't need it by a certain time. So just going through the process and learning things and you know, remembering things. It's been fun.
Yeah. Yeah, so we just talked about changing the limit to you've got to have lived here for at least 10 years before you can apply. I think, I mean, if they had started out with 10 years, do you think that's acceptable? Was 5 years not enough? What do you think?
That's the thing. So again, this is kind of knee-jerk policy making in response to idiots online who don't understand the process. You know, everyone who's said it's too easy to get Japanese citizenship has no idea what they're talking about. And this is just a knee-jerk. It's easy to say, okay, we'll just make it 10 now. I don't know if it. I mean, for me, obviously, and I've been here 26 years, so I don't care how many years they make the limit. They're not going to make it long enough that I can't apply. Yeah, I mean, in some ways, some people have said you should have to become a permanent resident before becoming a citizen. You know, that I can see why that would be, you know. So, I mean, I don't have strong feelings about how easy or difficult it should be, but
Right.
I think it's reasonable. So you should have a reasonable standard of Japanese. You should be a reasonably law-abiding person. You should be able to contribute to society and not be a burden. And as long as you meet those, I think, yeah, it works.
And foregone conclusion asks, does naturalization mean you can now become a politician and join the military or anything like that? Basically, no restrictions.
Yeah. So I thought about going into local politics because apparently it's quite easy to be elected. Because they have these huge rosters of potential candidates, and most of them get in, right? So if there's something slightly eye-catching about you, it's, you know, if you've got name recognition or something, it's easier to get elected. So I think it'd be fairly easy to get elected onto the Sendai City Council or similar. I just don't think I'd enjoy it. Like, I'm not a politician, you know. I don't remember people's names. I don't enjoy talking to people at a party. You know, I don't like meeting. I don't like mingling. So I think being a politician is probably a bad idea, sadly. But I had thoughts about it.
Yeah, so I think there's no restriction at all. Basically, you get the Japanese passport. You're a Japanese person, aren't you?
Yeah, they don't distinguish, right? So there's no legal distinction between a born, you know, a Japanese citizen by birth and a Japanese citizen by naturalization, which is nice. I think that's good. Although certain political parties want to change that.
All right. And you don't have to have permanent residency, but
No.
I wonder if it helps, like, sort of get you accepted.
I think I got asked why I wanted to naturalize, given that I was already a permanent resident.
Oh,
so because obviously I didn't, you know, they were like, well, you don't need to, do you? I was like, yeah, but I want to. I feel like I want to be. Yeah, so I think it might help in terms of making you seem less desperate. I don't know. You know, because you have that stability already, right? Whereas if you didn't, then perhaps, you know, I don't know. It's kind of like, you know, married people are more attractive because they're, you know, they're
not desperate
to get married. Yeah, kind of thing.
And Yush, here's some data for everybody. Yush Finds has said, thank you for the questions, by the way. Anyway, wait times in Tokyo are ridiculous. Yush Finds his PR application is in process since August of 2024. So in a few months, it could be 2 years.
Absolutely shocking. I really hope they put some of this money from the increased visa fees into, you know, improving the system and streamlining it and hiring more staff and training them better.
Wow. There was so going back to language earlier. I was going to put this on the screen.
Let's get back into that.
Yeah, _X_EX. I highly recommend using ASB Player browser extension. You can turn YouTube audio snippets into Anki flashcards and even add the subtitles from the video too.
Wow.
Also, you could get a sentence and then put it into. That's pretty clever, isn't it? I found the website here. Put the link in. It says drag and drop subtitle and media files or browse, and then wow, into flashcards. That's pretty cool. I've not heard of that.
That's awesome. The world is a magical place.
Cool. Thank you. Good tip. Good tip.
All right. I think we've kind of killed the learning Japanese topic, haven't we?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I don't know about you, but just talking about it like this has actually motivated me. Like, yeah, I want to install an app and try and push myself a bit more.
Whereas I want to do more things in Japanese. So I want to maybe read some books or read the newspaper. Or, you know what I mean? It's less the study bit and more the doing bit. I've always learned by doing. So yeah, especially studying for the JLPT, I find it really tedious to try and memorize kanji and stuff.
Yeah. Just depends how you build, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Much like personal finance, which is personal, language learning is there's no one good way to learn, right? There's lots of good ways to learn, and different people are gonna, they're gonna find that different ways resonate with them. They're gonna find it easier to learn in certain ways. Like I know people that loved studying kanji,
I used to like it.
I can't do it. Whereas I was much happier to try to kind of listen and figure out things on the fly, or as they weren't comfortable with that. So it's all about finding what works for you.
Yes.
So try lots of stuff, find something that you find enjoyable and productive, and do that basically.
Yeah. There we go. He's not just a personal finance expert, folks. Got the whole
I'm not even a personal finance expert. Hey, there's a question for you.
Oh, yay.
Daniel's our Mercari expert.
Hello. Have you sold things on Mercari before? If so, was it easy to use? I have a few knickknacks I want to get rid of. Yes. I don't have the app installed. I go through the website. I've sold things on Mercari, more on Yahoo Auction, actually. But yeah, it's pretty easy, especially with AI now. And so what I will do is I will try and find a few things that are similar that other people have sold, hopefully for a decent price. And then I will put, say, like 3 different items, get the descriptions from those 3 different items, put it into AI now and say, please write a description for this thing I've got, blending these things that people have mentioned because they might have picked something that I've forgotten about. In my case, I've had this thing for 1 year and it's still in good condition, and it will put it all into nice Japanese. And that's about it. Some good photos. Take the photos in daylight, not artificial light, because I think it makes it look so much better. What else? The thing that I'm not super keen on Mercari is that people can come and ask you for a discount, and that's quite common. And I never know what to do. Maybe I'm British, but I really hate negotiating prices, and I don't want to negotiate. I like Yahoo Auction because you can put it on at a really low price, and people then bid it up without you having to do anything.
Okay.
But the Mercari thing, you can put it on at a price that you think will get sold quickly, and then you can drop the price really easily, like a day later. So you can sell something quickly on Mercari. Yahoo Auction, you kind of have to wait until the auction finishes. And you might get a good price, you might not. At least with Mercari, you can be sure, I'm not going to sell it for lower than this much. I suppose on Yahoo Auction, you can set a minimum as well. But yeah, overall, easy. Use other people's listings to help you like phrase yours.
That's really clever.
Yeah, it's so much easier now. And make sure you take photos of pretty much everything just to cover yourself. Like the tiniest little mark on it, get a close-up of that. You got up to 10 pictures you're allowed, so try and fill those 10. Oh, one final thing. It's good to have a tape measure next to the thing, so that people can, or some people put a cigarette lighter or a beer can or something so that people can get a rough idea of what it looks like, and then you don't get them coming back saying, oh, I thought it was bigger or smaller.
Yeah.
Hope that helps.
Nice. We don't have a sound effect for our money quote, do we?
Oh, money. No, I don't. Oh. No, I think. Hang on.
Okay. That's more like, discount supermarket cashier kind of thing. But okay. So where's this money quote come from? Because I'm quite excited that you're doing this.
Right. Yeah. So the money quote is, and I quote here: "The business of life is the acquisition of memories. In the end, that's all there is." And that comes from a book called Die with Zero, quite a morbid title, written by Bill Perkins, who I hadn't heard of, but you said he's some like super rich guy.
Yeah, so he's a oil and gas trader, and he's a centimillionaire at least, I think. So he hasn't stopped working either. So take his advice with a pinch of salt. But I really enjoyed the book. So I read it a while back, wrote a blog post about it. It really gave me something to think about. So I think this is a great book if you're really good at saving. If you're not good at saving, this book isn't useful. But if you're really good at saving and investing, and like a lot of personal finance people end up in that situation, this is really helpful to try and flip that, because it's a different mindset.
I think he does say that early on, actually. If you're still trying to sort your finances out, then maybe it's not the right time to read the book. Yeah, the reason I picked it up is because I heard you recommend it, but I've seen it more and more in Japanese bookshops here, the Japanese translation. And my wife was interested in it. And so, okay, I'll finally read it. I thought it seems to me like it might be a book with one sort of theory, one premise. And once you get that, it's like, do I really need to read the book? Because I think I know what he wants to say, and it's just probably going to be full of examples just to back it up.
It could have been a blog post.
Okay.
I think, but it's a good read, and it's very useful. And yeah, if you've been a good accumulator, it's very useful to read that, because flipping the switch from accumulating to spending is really difficult. And it helps to have that kind of. He's got some good kind of frameworks that I think are very useful. So
right, yeah. I don't think we actually mentioned what it's about. So it's about sort of switching the mindset of don't try and die or end your life whenever that will be with loads of money in the bank. Instead, try and enjoy your life and plan it so that you're going to have not much left at all, because you've made the most of all your assets whilst you were alive.
Yeah, it's a kind of a bit more nuanced in terms of. So he's talking about different types of currencies. So you've got money, but you've also got time, and you've also got health span, where you as you get older, there's certain things that you can't or don't want to do anymore. So you want to do those things when you're younger, while you can still do them, right? So you don't want to go backpacking at our age, right? Whereas when you're 20, that's awesome. So it's trying to factor in that as well as money, right? So
yeah. I have a couple of more quotes from the book, actually. So he says, "What I am an advocate for is deciding what makes you happy and then converting your money into the experiences you choose." And then a bit later on, "Many psychological studies have shown that spending money on experiences makes us happier than spending money on things."
And spending money on other people as well.
Rather
than yourself. So treating someone else to something feels better than having that thing yourself a lot of the time.
She might be listening. No, not you. I'm kidding.
Awesome. All right, we've got another question.
TA Japan, hello. With spare cash, is it best to back pay your pension or to invest in iDeCo?
Japanese pension. You have a very limited ability to back pay pension, so it might be worth looking into whether that's actually possible or not. And you can normally get a projection as to how much difference it'll make. So if you back pay X amount of money, they'll be able to tell you how much pension you'd get for that. Generally, if it's either or, I think you'd probably end up better off by putting it in iDeCo. Assuming that you have enough months paid in to get Nenkin. So you need to pay 120 months to get Nenkin. If you don't have 120 months, try and get over that length of time. Once you've got it, then I think, an extra month into Nenkin versus the same amount of money into Ideco. Depends how old you are as well. How long is the Ideco going to be able to grow for? If it's multiple decades, that's probably going to be better. Lots of factors.
Okay, wait, this is a really basic question. That's why I'm here. So if I'm late paying into my Japanese regular Nenkin pension, and I look ahead and I think, oh, when I hit that retirement age, I will only have 100 months. It's possible before I get to that time to pay those extra 20 months to fulfill that requirement.
No. So generally, you're only allowed to back pay up to 2 years into Nenkin. And it's also time limited. So, if you didn't pay 25 years ago, you can't back pay that anymore. What you can do is you can pay in voluntarily after age 60.
Right. So you can make up your 120 months by doing that then?
Yeah. And if you're working, of course, you have to continue paying into Kousei Nenkin. So it's just if you're not working in an employee position, you can pay Kokumin Nenkin voluntarily between 60 and 65.
Okay. And related to that, for conclusion, who is going to be 60 in the autumn, wow, exciting, says that you can only apply to continue within the month of your last month in person. So you get to 60, you think, I'm going to continue paying in. But to do that, you have to go in person to the city hall or pension office, I guess, during that month of your last month. Is that right?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure entirely how it works. Although I did read recently that a certain person that doesn't like me very much online was rejected for PR because they decided to pay into Nenkin voluntarily, but the timing of that first payment was slightly longer. So immigration took that voluntary Nenkin payment that was late because of basically how the system works and said, you were late paying Nenkin, so we're going to reject your permanent residence application. So just be super careful.
That is so strict.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's so they've gone beyond are you paying to do you have a little piece of paper from 3 years ago that proves that you paid it on Friday? That it's just stupid. I don't see the purpose.
It's like they're looking for the opportunity.
Yeah, so just be careful if you decide to do that, and if you're applying for PR, maybe make sure that the payments are set up really quickly. Really unfortunate situation, I think.
Okay.
News.
Yes. What have we got?
Would you like some news with your news?
Quite a few. Yeah. So apparently there was a little tremble in up north.
Just off Aomori, I think. There was a fairly large earthquake, like magnitude 7.5. It woke me up. I was having a nap and there was an earthquake, and I kind of I kind of ignore earthquakes. I'm quite used to them. But this was quite a long one. And for people who've been here for a while, it's the long earthquakes that are the scary ones. So I got up and it turned out to be fine here. We had the tsunami sirens going for a few hours. But ever since then, on the TV, we've got this permanent little banner at the top that's like, future earthquake is much more likely this week for the next 10 days or so. So make sure, you've got your bug out bag, you've got your emergency supplies, you've got your water, you've got your food, and so on. And so we did that. We've got extra food, we've got some water, and I also filled the bath. So the reason we filled the bath,
you want to relax,
is obviously, but no, basically if the power and the water goes off, you can't use toilets unless you have water, and if you have a bath full of water in a bucket, you can still flush the toilet. So
Yeah, I'm not sure everyone sort of is aware of this, but yeah, you don't need to even turn the handle. Just pour a bunch of water down the toilet, and it'll all send
Yeah,
everything away
but
without power.
you need the water to do that. So
Right.
yeah, having a bath full is a couple of days worth of toilet flushing. So
Yeah. So that means the lid won't automatically come up. You'd have to lift it up manually. Oh, goodness me.
yeah. When the power's off, yeah. So yeah, basically, especially if you're in Tohoku, there is this big earthquake advisory for the next week or so. And just in general, like, you know, I was watching the Mount Fuji eruption, the ash will destroy Tokyo kind of TV program. And of course, we've got the Nankai Trough thing. So wherever you are in Japan, it's quite likely that it would be a good idea to, you know, have some food that you could eat if there was a big disaster, have some water that you could drink if there was a big disaster, and so on, and be ready to, you know, evacuate if you need to. So
one habit I changed since we last talked about this, maybe a couple of years ago, is having 1,000 yen notes available all the time. And so each time I get some money out from the machine, what I do now, instead of getting a round number, let's say 2,000 yen to 20,000 yen, I'll get 19,000 yen out, so that I've always got the individual notes, and then I'll just stick one in an envelope every now and then. So yeah, if anything happens, at least we've got 1,000 yen to go to the Jiro Hanbaiki or to buy in a shop where the power's out and they can't accept a credit card or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, having cash, coins, and small bills is super important. And also keep your car filled up. Like, you know, more than, if it gets to half, just fill it up again, just because, yeah, being able to leave the area is so nice, and also takes pressure off, you know, emergency help and response and stuff. So
yeah, well, anyway, we're glad you're okay. It sounds like the damage wasn't so bad up there from what I saw. There was fear of a tsunami, but in the end it was kind of okay.
They were smallish. They were saying like 80 centimeters tsunamis hit like parts of Iwate and things. But
right, okay. Yeah. Good. Well, fingers crossed that's as bad as it gets. Moving on, this is something I'm not going to link to this, actually. I'll just mention it. I went to my bank's website. In this case,
we're not endorsing this behavior.
No. So my bank, and it had, I won't link to it, but I'll read it out. Okay. This banner thing, like campaign banner, sports kuji, like sports lottery with Toto. スポーツくじを静岡銀行の口座からの引き落としで購入できるサービスです。So a new service from my bank that enables me to automatically take money out of my account and put it into sports betting. Seriously? A bank is supposed to be a place I trust for my money, like the sensible option, and they're promoting linking it to a sports betting service. That just seems like wrong, bad. It's got me really annoyed.
It's like all the alcohol adverts here, right? Like, alcohol's great.
Yeah, good point, actually. A couple of people are saying, yeah, online casinos are illegal. That's right, but
they are, but certain forms of sports betting, namely horse racing and powerboat racing, are sanctioned. So those are legal.
Yeah. Anyway, I wasn't impressed that they're sort of endorsing it from my bank. I want them to keep my money safe. So anyway, watch out. And yes, this is not financial advice, but you really want to think twice before linking your bank account with a sports betting service, in my opinion. Yeah. Right, let's move on. Bicycles. This is your area of expertise, isn't it? New bicycle rule implementation. We talked about last time. There are some rules that it's now easier.
There's loads. There's like 120 separate offenses that you can get tickets for now. Like,
really?
Yeah. There's a few people wrote articles about it, and most of them completely fine, common sense, right? Like, don't look at your smartphone while you're riding a bicycle, right? Like, please, stop at traffic lights and stop signs. So those are all fine. There's one that drives me nuts, though, that I really think is terrible. So apparently, and this isn't a new rule. It's a rule that existed before, because someone told me about it before as well. But I saw it recently and it made me angry again.
Okay.
So basically, if you're cycling on the road, as you're supposed to, like bicycles are in principle supposed to be on the road with other vehicles and not on the pavement with non-vehicular pedestrians and stuff.
Unless
you're cycling on the road. What's that?
Unless you deem it to be dangerous or something.
Yeah, so there's an exception for children and elderly people, and there's an exception if you consider the road to be dangerous at that particular spot, and so on. So there's lots of leeway there. But basically, if you're on the road and you're cycling along, I assumed that you would obey the road traffic lights. Right? So you're in the car lane, you look at the car lane traffic light and you go with that. So if it's red, you stop. If it's yellow, you stop. And if it's green, you go.
Yeah.
Apparently, on certain pedestrian crossings that are designated as pedestrian and cycle crossings, you don't obey the road traffic light. You obey the pedestrian traffic light.
Oh.
So you can be on a bicycle on the road with a green light, go through the green light, but the pedestrian one was red already and you ran a red light, which makes no sense. Like if you're on the road and you're paying attention to the road, why would you be looking at the pedestrian thing? Like it's not all of them. It's only the designated ones. And I don't think there's many in Sendai. So I'm okay. But apparently there's loads in Tokyo. So this is catching out people where they're getting pulled over by the police for running red lights when the car light was green, right, on the road that they were on.
So you kind of have to like switch, like I'm on the road here and sort of shuffle across into the pedestrian.
Not necessarily shuffle, but you have to stop, right? Even though the cars aren't stopping at that point. So yeah, I didn't like that one. I was like, okay, if you're on the road, follow the road rules, right? But there's this one type of, and you have to pay attention to what it says on the sign to see if it affects you or not. So yeah, I didn't like that one, but the rest seem okay-ish.
Yeah. And so if somebody stops you saying that you've broken the law, you should give them some money, right?
I don't know if everyone else has seen these, but there's been a few news stories about random scam people going up to mainly kids and saying, hey, you on the bicycle, you just broke the law and I'm going to fine you 2,000 yen. So please give me 2,000 yen. The one story about a junior high school boy in Hokkaido, I think, who was like, okay, well, show me your police badge then, at which point the scammer ran off. So the police do not collect money. The police will give you a ticket and then you have to pay later at the post office or something. So just keep that in mind.
And if in doubt, ask to see their police badge.
Yep. Actually, anytime the police want to talk to you, ask to see their police badge.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's just common sense.
Yeah. One thing I saw in one of the articles was that one of the scam people said you didn't put your arm out to signal when you were turning, and therefore you need to pay a fine. But that's not a rule anyway, is it? I don't think you don't have to.
I think it might be. I'm not sure. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think they might have gone overboard on the number of rules.
Right.
Like, there's probably 10 really important ones that they maybe should focus on first before all the other ones. Yeah, I'd have to check. So I'm not sure. I do signal, but that's because I learned how to do that in the UK. It's just a habit now. So
right. Yeah.
I don't know if you have to or not.
Yeah. Okay. Foregone conclusion says it is a rule. Nobody does it, but it is a rule. There's many things like that. Nobody does it.
Hey, I do it. It's not nobody. I do it. I'm the only one. I've never seen anyone else. Actually, no. I saw an elderly Japanese man do it as well, or Japanese-looking man. It's us two in Sendai. There's two of us that do hand signals.
Yeah. Right. What other news do we have then? Oh no. Right, a couple of medical things here. First one is your toe thing. If anyone is squeamish, look away now or listen away now. Yes, go ahead.
Well, I put it on the... Did I put it on the Monday read? I did, didn't I? Yeah, I didn't put pictures, though.
No, thankfully.
So a few weeks ago, I had a freak accident with a weight bench where I managed to chop off half of one of my toes, which resulted in a fun trip to the hospital. My first ride in an ambulance. And the ambulance turned up in under 5 minutes, which I was very impressed with. And it's healing, basically. So it's been fun. Not. If anyone wants to know how small amputations feel, I can tell you.
Wow. So that's the short version.
Just look back, maybe 2-3 weeks ago on the Monday read, I had more of a write-up. My wife, though, she's really enjoying it. So she obviously has photos, right? And she keeps going up to people and being like, look at this photo, without warning them or asking them if they want to see something horrible. She's just like pushing it in people's face. I'm like, no, don't do that. You have to get consent to show people. Yeah.
Okay, I'm posting a link to the comments there. If you're interested in reading more detail, there are no gory photos, but
yeah.
So
it was an experience. It was very interesting.
Well, I can't believe you're still smiling. Right. Sticking with the medical theme, you discovered a good thing, didn't you? You had a quite provocative blog post title, I thought, How to Buy Drugs in Japan. Make it very clear, this is the legal kind that make you better.
Yeah, so I have seasonal allergies. Started about 4 years after I got to Japan. So it took 4 years to build up, I guess, in my system for my body to react to it. And they've got worse since. So a few years ago, they got bad enough that I was like, I can't take this anymore. So I went to the doctor and started getting drugs, for my allergies. And I had to go to a few different clinics because some of them were like, hey, here's 15 different things that you need to take every day. And I was like, oh my God, I can't be dealing with this. But eventually I found a doctor that gave me one small kind of antihistamine pill and it seemed to help. So I've been taking that for a few years now. But as is very common in Japan, I have to go to the doctor to get more, right? To get my prescription renewed. And he won't give me more than like 5 weeks. So I'm now taking these drugs pretty much year round. The allergy season just got longer and longer. So I have to go to the doctor like 11 times a year just to get my prescription filled. And each time takes between an hour and like 3 hours. So it's really frustrating. And basically the last time I went was April, so this month. And it took 3 hours and I was really busy and I just got really stressed. So I went home and started looking for a generic kind of over-the-counter thing that would have a similar effect. And instead, I found an online medical service that would give me the same drug and just talk to me online instead. So basically, I signed up for it, tried it, made an appointment. They called me. I'm guessing it was a doctor. So a doctor asked me some questions. You have to prove that you're already taking the drug. So they won't give you the drugs initially. It's just for people like me that have a regular prescription that's frustrating. And it took less than 2 minutes.
Wow.
And then the drugs arrived by post 2 days later. So wonderful. So that's sorted for me. But it's a limited range of medicines, and you do have to be taking them already. But if you have a regular medicine and you Google it and see if you can get it online, that might be possible.
Wow. And you think that's going to be the way that all medication will be done in the future? Well, a lot of...
I don't think so, but I think we're going to have more options like this. So clearly in Japan, we've got a problem with access to medical care. There's not enough doctors. There's not enough doctors in rural areas, and there's a big imbalance and stuff. So it's obvious. I mean, this is what they do in Australia, right? They've got the flying doctor service that does online stuff as well.
Right. Yeah.
So of course, if you're in a village in Akita and there's no doctors nearby, then of course you should be able to talk to a doctor in Tokyo on the internet and get the care that you need. And this would save a lot of time and infrastructure. And I think that's how the Japanese medical system is going to evolve, right? We're going to have more telemedicine options in the future.
Yeah.
Because the current system is creaking, it's becoming unsustainable. So,
yeah.
And it's pointless. Why am I sitting in a waiting room clogging up the doctor just to get the medicine I've been taking for the last 4 or 5 years, right?
This is the thing I was surprised about at first. Like, wow, I don't have waiting times that long, and I'm in a more. Actually, no, maybe you're in a more sort of suburban.
ENT doctors. ENT doctors in allergy season it's mad.
Okay. Wow.
Or skin doctors. Skin doctors are so busy. Like, try and go see a skin doctor, and it's gonna take hours.
Really? Oh, I don't get that around here. But don't live in Sendai, folks.
It's pretty good normally, if you don't have like chronic medical issues.
Right. Right. The only other thing we have on the news was talking about the real estate summit, which we did earlier. And I think we'll keep an eye on that. When they release the videos, we'll come back to that and give people.
We'll link to that in. But really good day out. So if you're interested in real estate at all, it might be worth going to one, because it really was. And it was fun. It was fun to meet people as well.
Yeah. Right. Should we go back and clear some questions up then?
Yeah, let's do it.
123 Schlep, so when we met, I meant to ask him, so Schlep in the name, I wondered if that's from, there's a YouTuber called Dave who is really into bass, like the bass guitar, and he's become a bit of a
Davey 103 or whatever.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, I love him.
Is that where the Schlep in 123 Schlep comes from? I don't know. Anyway, so
Slap, isn't it?
Slap, yeah, but maybe he's doing it in his accent. I don't know. Right. So RetireJapan made a great video last year about IBSJ, which is Interactive Brokers something Japan, beginning to offer NISA accounts. Are you actually? I've got a link to that video here. Are you aware of any reports of US citizen Japan residents' experiences with this now that US tax season is over? So it's been just over half a year. Tax season is over. Have you heard anything like it's been great or it's full of gotchas or something?
I've heard some people were frustrated with the interface. Also, as part of the sign up, if you say I don't have investing experience, they reject your application. And it seems there's fairly limited amounts of products offered in NISA, especially. But you can get VT, which is the World Vanguard stock fund, which is fine, I think. Lots of people are using it. I haven't had any like big issues, just small frustrations with the platform or the sign up process or the interface and so on.
Yeah, when you mentioned that at the conference, people were still not aware of that, I think, and a lot of like, oh, really? I'm American and I can have a NISA now?
Might have to do another video, eh? Like,
I'll just spread awareness. Right, what else did we have? Wow, lots of go back to your ambulance. Your ambulance, you said it turned up within 5 minutes, and then did it take a long time to decide which hospital would accept you for going to house? Like, did you get a say in it, or did they automatically decide?
So it's evolved quite a lot. So my last experience with this was a few years ago when one of our students got hit by a car just outside the school and broke her leg. So we had to call an ambulance, and same thing. Ambulance came quickly and then sat there for like 45 minutes calling hospitals to find one that would take her, right? This time it seems they have this kind of centralized online system. So I got in the ambulance and they put all my data into the system. So they scanned my number card, took photos of the injury and all that, put it up in the system, and then contacted hospitals. And the hospitals could access all the information and see what it was and see if they could deal with it. And the second hospital they called was like, yep, we can do that. So it took about 10 minutes maybe, but a lot of that was stabilizing the wound and taking photos and stuff. So
yeah.
Also, my wife was looking for the piece of toe, but she couldn't find it. A mysterious case of the disappearing toe.
Again, go back to the blog post if you want to read all the details.
But yeah, it wasn't too bad. If I'd been in agony, it would have felt a lot longer than it was. But
right. Wow.
We're about 15 minutes from the hospital. We're next to a highway, and then it's 15 minutes to the big hospital that I went to.
All right. Okay, that's pretty good.
Ambulances have terrible suspension, though. Yes. Like, I don't know if I just got used to our car, which is quite nice. So we got this like Alphard. It's just a comfortable ride, whereas the ambulance was not. I was like, oh my God, I'm feeling every bump here. Like, they really need to like get some new vehicles or something. Like,
yes, I've just been in one once, like you, and it was a few years ago when I had my back problem. So the first time it was really bad, and I felt really embarrassed, like calling ambulance for a back problem, but I was on the floor and I can't move. I
couldn't move, yeah.
Right. And they came along, and just being put on the stretcher and put into the ambulance was so nice. It's like, okay, at last, like, I'm lying down properly and being looked after. I was so happy. And so I think because of that, they didn't think I was taking it seriously, because I was, this is great. But then, yeah, they've got the lights on, flashing lights. And I wasn't in a hurry at that point. It's like, okay, cool. You're like, take your time, drive me nice and smoothly. And I did say, you can switch off the lights. It's like, if we do that, then we're no more than a taxi. Okay, I'm sorry, put them back on. But yeah, like you, it's like, it wasn't the most comfortable ride.
It was shocking. The the suspension's not great.
Yeah. Right. For conclusion, very chatty this evening. How are yields in real estate this year? Up, down, no change, all things being equal?
Depends on the area. It's so local, yes. Right? So, yeah. I mean, even the best yields I was seeing at the real estate summit was like 5-6% gross. So,
yeah.
This is on rental properties, obviously.
I asked a couple of friends called ChatGPT and Claude, and they both said a similar thing. They are getting it from websites, but I have not been able to research whether it's correct or not. And yeah, Central Tokyo around 3.3-ish. National average is around 4.2, which has gone up slightly, like by 0.1 or 0.2% over the last couple of years. That's just from AI. Whether you can believe it or not, I don't know. You need to research it, but really, I don't think we really know.
It's too local. I mean, you have to look which neighborhood of which city are we talking about, really? Like,
yeah. Right, what have we got? Okay, Yush finds again. He's tired of cooking. I know that feeling. So I switched to a service called Nosh. Have you folks tried it yet? Any good alternatives to frozen, ready to cook, eat, or delivery services? I've not tried anything.
It looks kind of pricey though. I mean, I guess it's healthier than getting something like Hotomoto or something.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right. If anybody does, then please put a message in the comments and help Yush find out. In the meantime, we'll move to the next one. K. Alexander 925. Hello. We have a ask about this, actually. I'll find the link. Any tricks for signing up for a credit card? I got turned down for Amazon Rakuten credit cards. No reason given. Have been here 9+ months now with a decent paying job and all correct info provided. Ben, any tips?
It's really tough getting that first card. Japan doesn't really have a credit score. It has a credit history. And if they pull your history and it's blank, often they'll reject you. So once you get one card, it's quite easy to get more. But that first one can be really tricky. One thing that might help is getting kind of credit card adjacent loans, whether that's buying a smartphone on installments, which counts. Maybe getting a small loan. I think I had a motorbike loan when I got my first card. That probably helped. But yeah, it's tough. But once you get one, it does get easier. Those are the two easier ones to get. You might try Costco as well, maybe. But Amazon and Rakuten tend to be the easier ones normally. So yeah, just keep trying, but don't try too much either, because lots of kind of rejections looks bad as well. So
Mr. Cantonese says, "Hi guys, late to the party." Hello, Mr. Cantonese. 123 Schlep has confirmed that Schlep is not based on Dave, the bass player's slap. It's a loan word from Yiddish used in US English to proceed or move especially slowly. That fits with like tediously, awkwardly, or carelessly. I'm a hiker, but very slow and lumbering, so it became my nickname. Oh, that's pretty cool. Husky HK07, going back to your toe issue and the end being chopped off and couldn't find it. And you said your wife also had looked and couldn't find it. Well, apparently she will find it. It'll show up as mistletoe at Christmas. Ha ha ha.
Nice. You're banned forever. Husky.
Right. But they do follow up with a serious question. So has anyone ever submitted Kokugai Zaisan Chosho? So that's a declaration of overseas assets. I think this is not just foreigners, but Japanese people as well. Above a certain income or asset amount, you have to declare how many and the value of any assets you've got outside of Japan.
Yeah, over 50 million. Yeah,
over 50 million. Oh, so what your total assets inside and outside? Or
no,
just
outside.
Outside.
Just outside. Yeah.
If they're more than 50 million, you have to submit this declaration of overseas assets.
Which is a shame, because this number hasn't changed for years. And of course, the yen's dropped massively during that time. So in practice, this is affecting loads more people. If they'd actually raised it with inflation and the yen and stuff, it would be more like 100 million yen threshold, but it's still 50. Right. So yeah, it's not really part of the tax return. You just have to do it separately, and it's not a taxable event necessarily. You're just informing the tax office of the existence of these things. So
in that case, then, if it's not taxable or anything, it sounds like it's not that important. So what happens if you don't do it?
So there are penalties, it seems, up to and including fines and jail time. So it seems like it's a worse offense than not paying your taxes. So yeah.
Okay, so wow. So filling it in, submitting it doesn't actually mean you have to pay anything or anything like that, but not doing it is a big deal.
You could get in trouble. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Now there are two on there. There's this one of overseas assets, but there's also another one of all your assets inside Japan and outside when your income or something is beyond a certain level.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that because my income's never been that.
Right.
I think it's like 20 million or something. Or 200 million in assets or something.
Right.
I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to look them up. But yeah, if you have a very high income or very high net worth, you might have to do these extra tax paperwork things.
And so one of them is one of them covers more than the other, from what I remember. So one of them will be things like antiques and stuff. Maybe that's the overseas assets one. Even if you've got like a painting or an antique or something, that counts. You have to put down everything. That. Whereas in that case, then, so I think it's the internal one, which is all assets inside and outside the country, and that's more like liquid assets. I think, like how much cash you've got in the bank, how many shares you've got.
Okay,
from what I remember, but yeah, you need to look. But yes, this is not the only thing. If you are super wealthy, this is not the only thing you have to fill in. There is also another at a high level for all your assets.
Yeah, someday I aspire to filling in that form.
Go back to the credit card thing. Usefine said that their first credit card depended on the visa. They got to know from, well, I suppose maybe it depends on the credit card or the situation, but in their case, they were told that they required at least 2 years of residency on the visa to be able to get the credit card. Zero, talking about getting a tax accountant, Zero XERO is good for digital tax accounting. If that's something, I've never used it. I've heard of it. I've heard it's quite good. Okay. I didn't know it was applicable for Japanese taxes as well, but something to look into if you need software. Oh, interesting. JP Phil, hello, has had a phone plan for about 10 years, a SoftBank, And through the SoftBank phone plan, they were able to get a PayPay card within a couple of days. But that's because they had a very long history of the phone plan, paying on time every month. So that could be an option if you're looking for a credit card. Look at something available through your phone plan. Good tip. Mr. Cantonese was celebrating 30th anniversary in Yamanashi. Congratulations. Good point by CDU42. These forms and stuff that you have to fill in if you've got loads of assets. If you've got enough assets and income to require that form, you can probably afford an accountant to tell you what to do or do it for you. Yeah. Point.
Yeah.
Here's something I haven't heard about for a long time. The NHK fee, or as Damien Journeys calls it, the NHK tax. If you have a TV, you're supposed to pay the NHK person.
If you have anything that's capable of receiving a signal. So if you have a smartphone, if you have a computer, if you have a TV, if you have a car, you have to technically pay.
Wait a minute.
No, you have to sign a contract with NHK.
Smartphone?
Yeah, because it can receive the broadcast. So basically, everyone has to do this. I mean, the whole I don't have a TV and I also Nihongo tabemasen. It doesn't work anymore, right? Thing is, they're not really going door to door anymore, or at least much less than they used to. So, since COVID, they kind of shut that down. So now what they do is they just send letters to the occupant. And I didn't pay for a long time, but I pay now. So I think if you're getting letters to the occupant, you can ignore it. But if you're getting letters to you, you should probably sign up just in case, because they can take you to court.
Yeah.
Whether they bother, the numbers are quite large, so the chances of being taken to the guy that got fined in the news recently.
Mm-hmm.
He was making a statement and he said that I do not, recognize your right to do this. And then the court didn't like that, obviously. Whereas I think just ignoring them is a safer course of action.
Right.
But they can take you to court for not doing it.
Yes. This is going back a few years now, but I always thought it was voluntary. And we didn't have to pay it. We lived in the countryside down in Kyushu for a while. And the TV service was so bad in a little sort of valley where we live that sometimes we could get a signal, sometimes we couldn't. And so we didn't have to pay because
they had a waiver.
Yeah, they did. They got this regional thing. If you're here, we know your service is rubbish, so you don't have to pay. We moved to Tokyo and did all the proper paperwork and stuff. And then for a long time, we didn't have to pay until eventually they realized and one day came to visit us. And I sort of said, I need time to think about it, trying to get rid of them. And I said, okay, we'll come back later. And in that time, I went and looked online, and sure enough, I found the same thing, that people have been forced to pay. And, it's not voluntary like I thought it was. It is a compulsory thing. So then we just bit the bullet and signed up.
Yeah.
I don't think you can get away with it if they are really on your case. And as you say, if they've got your name rather than just whoever lives in the home.
So, once you sign up, that's pretty much it. If you can avoid signing up, then maybe. There's also that political party full of buffoons. That's Smash the NHK party, right? So
so funny. If you get the chance to watch their broadcast, there was one election recently, and the guy was talking on NHK about how terrible NHK was, and then the final slogan was something really intellectual, like "Bukoas, Bukoas, Bukoas," or something like that. Oh, that's really convinced me. Yeah. Anyway, wow, I think we've done all the comments there, and I forgot where we were in our agenda. We finished the news. That's right. Okay. Media we have here, which is your slot, talking about Poser, P-O-Z or Z.
Yeah, so I have dubious taste in music. I quite like UK kind of rap stuff, and there's this guy called Poser that I've been listening to a lot recently, who's really, really good. So if you're into UK rap, Poser with a Z is really good. A bit less kind of niche I watched Zootopia 2 with my granddaughter the other day. It was okay, but it made us go back and watch the first one, which is much better. So those are my 2 media things this month.
Okay, I'll put a link to poser videos here. No, I have no idea.
Aquatic's really good.
Okay, forgive me, folks. I'm putting a DuckDuckGo video link in there. Okay, well, that's our media thing. Go. Yeah, we probably not allowed to play the music on the podcast, I guess, or the TV.
Yeah, don't.
just in case.
Yeah, let's not get copyright strike. Yeah.
The next one then, and the frivolous purchase confessional. I'm sure I had some church music somewhere, but I must have lost it. Okay, so imagine there's church music playing and you're arriving at the confessional. Then what do you have to confess?
Yeah, so I'm picking up our new car tomorrow.
Ooh, didn't you just get one like last year or something?
We did, yeah. We got another one. So we got the van to ferry around grandkids and go on road trips, but my wife also has a car, and our old car kind of rusted out, so it's not going to pass check-in. So we got another one. So we got a Corolla because they're reliable. Corolla Sport in red because they go faster if they're red. I'm going to pick it up tomorrow. So they're quite nice. Quite excited.
Wow. That doesn't sound like that sounds like a practice.
Frivolous. We do not need one car, let alone 2. So yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. Right. I have a little money tip. Where we go? Hey, although this time it's not really Daniel's money tip, it's Ben's money tip, as you told me about this very cool thing. Hotels, if you're fancy staying in a hotel and you want more bang for your buck, you kind of accidentally, I think, at first, you went to this very nice luxury place in Appi, as an intercontinental hotel, I think it was. Had a wonderful stay for very little money, or relatively little money, compared to other people who will have paid up to 10 times more than you. How did you get such a deal?
So basically, Appi is a resort hotel. It's in a ski resort, basically. So in season, there's a lot of, it's basically all foreign tourists at this point. Like the last time we were there to ski, we didn't hear any Japanese. It was all English and Chinese. But so the hotel's really nice. The Intercontinental Appi, it's quite new. They built it just at the same time as the Harrow School was built. And I suspect that they're doing a kind of double thing where they get ski tourists in season, and then the rest of the time they're just there for like the parents of the Harrow students. And there's a heliport to allow them to get there from Narita quite easily.
Yeah.
But anyway, the hotel's really nice. And if you go in season, if you go in the ski season, like January, February, the cheapest for a room is like 300,000 yen a night kind of thing, like insane. But if you go out of season, if you go in like November after the leaves, but before the snow, or if you go in, like May, June kind of time, it's as cheap as 30,000 yen. So there's a 10 times swing. So if you go in season and you pay 10 times as much and it's full, you go out of season, it's 1/10 the price and the hotel's empty. So one of my favorite hotels, like really nice, really chilled. So yeah, occasionally I'll go up there with my wife for, a quick getaway. It's really good. And also we found nearer to Sendai, there's a place called Zao, same situation. And we went to stay at one of the hotels there. Again, like the day after the ski season ended, prices dropped and it was really nice. So yeah, if you look around and find places that are very expensive in season and maybe a bit less out of season, really good.
Yeah, I was thinking about how to sort of make the most of this in other places. I think if you think of something like a city like Osaka, say, it's going to be popular pretty much all the year round. It's not really going to apply. But if you think of something that has seasonal interest and just look for basically the outside the season,
Outside of the window, yeah.
Right, yes. I did take a look actually just to check up, and yeah, sure enough, in January or something, yeah, 33, and was it 330? What's that? Yeah, 33,000 or something yen a night for one of the cheapest price hotels, rooms in that hotel. It's
330, right?
330. Yeah, that's what I'm sorry. Yeah, 330. Yes. Crazy. And then go in February or the end of February after Chinese New Year, it suddenly seems to drop off, and then nobody's skiing, and wow, so much cheaper. So there we go. That's a little money tip there. Thank you, Ben. You saved me having to come up with this.
Nice. All right, really quick forum update. So of course we got the Retire Japan forum. You can read it without signing up. If you want to post, you need to make an account on the forum. But so UK state pension, we've been talking about a lot. There's been some big changes this year, so a few threads on that. Thread about US citizen who has a NISA account with mutual funds in it, so PFICs. What should they do with that? We've had a lot of website downtime for the last couple of weeks, so sorry about that. I looked into it, and apparently we had 42 million visits from Vietnam over the course of 2 days, and it was just tanking the website. So I went on and I just blocked Vietnam as a country, which is not the optimal solution, but it seems to have fixed the problem for now. We had a thread about HMRC in the UK, so the tax authority, only offering refunds by check. So what can people do about that? Asking about accountants for inheritance tax. Stock investing Q&A mega thread now has 272 replies.
So which mega thread was that? You broke up a bit.
Stock investing.
Oh, right.
Q&A. So it's basically the beginner's Q&A kind of thread. We had a net worth update thread, and we had a thread about medium-term investment. So what do you do with the money that you don't want to put in the stock market, but you don't want to have as cash either? What are the good options in Japan? So there's a thread about that. If you're interested, go and check it out.
That's good one. Cool.
And that's all.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Right. And I think we're going to wrap it up, aren't we? So
speaking of UK pensions, is it about now there's the cutoff point for applying for class 2 or 3 back payment something? The UK, there was that loophole and they were closing the loophole.
Possibly. So from this year, you can no longer pay into class 2. If you were previously eligible, you might be able to back pay it. Might be worth looking into. I actually have to call them because I back paid a few things in December 2024. They told me it would take 50 weeks to show up in my account. It still hasn't shown up in my account. So I'm going to have to call them, which is not fun, and see if we can fix that. So it's very frustrating to deal with HMRC, but it should be worth it, basically.
Right. I think we just got a couple of questions and comments to go back on. Yus Finds again says their city gave them some cash back in points, about 5,000 yen as living support in points back in February, March. Is that something happening throughout Japan?
Yeah. So
yeah.
I made a blog post about it. So we had it in Sendai in March, I think, and then the city next door was in April. So we only got 3,000 though. So it seems to depend on your local authority as to how much money you get. I think Tokyo got much more. So damn them, these Tokyoites. They just get all the nice stuff.
Yeah. I guess you have to have the My Number card to get that though, don't you?
This one we did, yeah.
Yeah.
So you had to sign up through a portal and connect your My Number card to that. So it was a bit of a faff.
Yeah.
But we pooled all our points, so we gave them all to my daughter. So she got about 30,000 yen's worth of points.
Oh, wow. Wow. Very nice. Look at you.
Yeah.
Good to do. Right. Golden Week comments regarding our sort of off-season cheap stays. Golden Week in a nutshell: stay local or very nearby and watch the cricket. Okay, you don't have to watch the cricket, I guess. But, stay locally or close by. Yeah, yeah.
Actually, we found like there's a few places near Sendai that have like nice restaurants or like, you know, picturesque parks and stuff. And we found in Golden Week they're completely deserted and pretty much shut down. Which is like, it's kind of frustrating. But at least there's no people there. But a lot of the places are shut for Golden Week. So restaurants and so
on. Yeah. K Alexander 925 asks, how do you call HMRC, that's the UK tax office, without it costing an arm and a leg, without it costing a fortune in a post-Skype world? So you mean like actual phone up a number? Don't think I've used it.
That's a good question, because I went to try and use Skype the other day, and of course they've shut it down for non-corporate accounts, I think, which is very frustrating because I had about 3,000 yen on there. I think there's a service called Viber that people said was okay. So VIBER. I think it might be some kind of Rakuten or SoftBank kind of service, but it's the same kind of idea where you have cheap VoIP kind of calls.
Yeah.
I'm going to be looking into it. So if I find something, I might do a blog post about it.
Yeah. Fat Chocob Zero, interesting name. Hello. Says you can use something like MyTello too. So MYTELLO. That's a good thing.
I will check it out. Thanks for the recommendation.
Yeah. Come back to the points. CD42 says Tokyo got around Ichiman yen, about 11,000 yen in points apparently. Yeah, that's vary a lot across the country.
Boo, boo. The other thing that annoys me, actually, I found out recently. So apparently Tokyo is thinking about making garbage disposal for households paid. So you have to pay to put garbage out. And I was like, wait, that's been the case in Sendai since I got here. So I've been paying to throw away garbage for 26 years. And you're telling me that people in Tokyo don't.
You pay?
Well, you have to buy the branded bags, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
And the bags are expensive because they include the disposal fees.
Oh, in that sense, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
So everyone in Japan, except Tokyo, it seems, is already paying to throw away garbage. And yeah, it's quite controversial, apparently, that they're thinking about bringing that in.
Now you mention it, when we lived in Tokyo, yeah, we didn't have that. It was a new thing to us when we moved down here. Okay.
So I'm mad. I am mad about that.
Okay. Right. And on that note,
God,
all that bad energy.
Of course they should pay more.
Okay.
They've got 26 years worth of paying to make up for.
Yeah, and they will. Don't worry. Yes, it'll all be okay, Ben. Right. If there are no further comments or questions, I think that's
when's our next episode?
It will be May, won't it?
May 27th. So at the end of May, final Wednesday in May, we'll be back with more. See you then.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Thank you for tuning in, everybody.
All right. Have a great Golden Week, and we'll see you on the other side.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.